Oh man, you better pay attention. Remember, when I was still in the Army, 2011, 2012, I was telling you how, with President Obama, the first black president, it's all strategic. They're playing chess. They said, we're going to have the first black president push the LGBTQ agenda. That way, anybody who speaks against him, anybody who tries to criticize him, we'll just label them a racist. And that's what they're doing right now. A lot of people are saying this. Anybody that has any type of critique of Kamala, who doesn't agree with her policies, they're going to try to change the narrative. And I've already seen a bunch of clips, like the news just even saying some outrageous things about the new N-word and things like that. It's ridiculous. Look, black people, don't fall for it. If you don't like her policies, if you don't agree with some of the things that, Democrats are doing, if you don't, you see some red flags there, you have every right not to vote for her. You have every right to critique it and give your opinion, and they're going to tell you, oh, it's hate speech, especially if you're of a different race, if you're black, they can say you tearing down the black woman. And this, it's the crazy thing, like same thing with like Beyonce, full-blown witchcraft on the stage, but, oh, you're tearing her down. How dare you say that? It's strategic what they're doing, and you cannot fall for it. That's why I've always said for years, you got to put kingdom over culture. Wrong is wrong, regardless of skin color. We don't have to support you just because you're black, right? Especially as Christians. And we're going to play some clips here, and I hope you see it. Oh, by the way, Beyonce endorsed her. No surprise there, right?
Do you support reparations for black people?
Listen, the reality also is this. Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that black family will benefit that community and society as a whole in the country.
What can be unburdened by what has been? What can be unburdened by what has been?
What can be unburdened by what has been?
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been,
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Wakanda forever.
Listen, as you guys are logging on to this live, I'm going to play a couple of videos of Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton to set the context of everything that I'm about to say in this video that I want you to pray about, that I know is going to be controversial. A lot of people are not going to agree with it, but I just really believe America is in some critical times. We have to speak up. A lot of, pastors and prophets and, preachers, they're politicking. They don't want to deal with the backlash. So, they say, oh, I'm going to just stay out of it. Listen, while, people are being neutral in the church, the enemy has his foot on the gas and is actively trying to turn America into a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. So somebody has to speak out, even though it's not going to be popular. And please understand, this isn't about demonizing people, but it's about the systems, right? The legislation, the agendas that they are either knowingly or ignorantly pushing. At the end of the day, we know that the Antichrist spirit is roaming in the earth. So I want to play these videos to set the context. I think it's strange that as soon as, Kamala was selected, because she wasn't voted in, she was selected, red flag. As soon as she was selected, the first thing she talks about is abortions. I'm telling you, this is a spiritual thing, and God is not pleased with the direction of America, but it's strange. But look at these clips in context.
We who believe in reproductive freedom will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans because we trust women to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
I want to appoint Supreme Court justices who understand the way the world really works. I want a Supreme Court that will stick with Roe v. Wade and a woman's right to choose, and I want a Supreme Court that will stick with marriage equality. Now, Donald has put forth the names of some people that he would consider, and among the ones that he has suggested are people who would reverse Roe v. Wade and reverse marriage equality. I think that would be a terrible mistake and would take us backwards.
2016 campaign, Donald Trump made it clear he would nominate justices who would overturn Roe versus Wade. Did you imagine it would happen this quickly?
I warned about it in the campaign.
The next president could end up nominating multiple justices. That means whoever America elects this fall will help determine the future of the court for decades to come. In short, in a single term, the Supreme Court could demolish pillars of the progressive movement.
Listen, I'm about to say some things that a lot of people might not agree with, and that's fine. As always, I say, just pray about everything for yourself. This is something that I believe God has been showing me for quite some time, all the way back to even President Obama being president. There was things that God was highlighting to me, and many of you guys have heard me discuss those things before, so I'm not going to talk about it on the front end of this video. I might conclude with it. I want to talk about the matter that is at hand. Now, you guys know that the last couple of years before Biden got in, I was given all these warnings about, how there was an Ahab and a Jezebel, and if America didn't repent, that, they were going to get in and they were going to push this agenda some more. And we saw Biden do that with the LGBTQ agenda. We saw some of the legislation and things that he passed. But interesting enough, Kamala Harris, number one, they say that Republicans are a threat to democracy, but they just put somebody into this position that the people didn't vote for. And I almost wonder, was it kind of like a Trojan horse thing? Was this the plan, the whole time, have Biden go through all the preliminary stuff, have him get the, nomination, and then after that drop out and have, Kamala say, okay, this is who we're going to put to the front? I think it's strange because the reality is the people didn't vote for Kamala to get to this point. And if we did it, the right way, the correct way, according to how, the American, voting system works, she probably wouldn't have made it this far running as president. And so that's the first thing that, is a little bit of a red flag to me, is kind of concerning to me. And then you see the first thing that she did, right, was what? Talk about abortions and this whole women's, healthcare thing, and why that is a second red flag, besides the other stuff that I've been telling you guys for years about just the policies that Democrats are pushing, is because with all the inflation, the stuff that's going on at the border, we're still just focused for some reason on LGBTQ agenda and abortions. Like, there's so many other problems, going on in the world, but that's like always the priority with that side. Now, I want you to look at some of these clips. You'll see with Hillary Clinton, it was the same thing. And I told you guys what I believe was the recipe. First black president, okay, push the LGBTQ agenda, strategic. Anybody who says anything bad about him will just say, you know what, they're racist, and they're homophobic. So I believe like they're playing chess. And then Hillary Clinton was anointed to be next, right? And she was telling you, go look at the debates. This is what I'm going to do. Supreme Court justices. I'm going to put these, liberal Supreme Court justices who do this and do that and do that. And so America's just continually to become more of a Sodom and Gomorrah through legislation. That's what they wanted, right? But guess what? Trump got in. Nobody thought Trump was going to win. They were laughing. They thought it was a joke. And he selected the Supreme Court justices, and he selected very conservative Supreme Court justices, which was very good for Christians, especially considering, they were trying to take Christians to court and sue them, like the Christian Baker, some same-sex couples wanting, to force Christian pastors to marry them or say, it's discrimination. You know how bad it would be if Hillary Clinton had got in there and picked some liberal Supreme Court justices. Like, that's literally one of the best things that Trump did. A lot of good things, but that was one of the best things that he did in his presidency. And it infuriated those people because why? They had an agenda that they were pushing. So I'm not surprised that Kamala gets in there and this is the first thing she's talking about. And so let me just tell you this. This is what I feel. I posted it on Instagram. You can see it here. Apparently a lot of people, agree. I already said that I believe they were Ahab, Jezebel, presidency. Weak man, strong woman, probably Obama behind the scenes really pulling the strings. Biden's not really in charge. Now, the reality how I see it is if America lets Jezebel get in office. Now, let me be clear about this. Jezebel is not a person, it's a system. We don't wrestle against flesh and blood. So I don't hate her. I don't hate Joe Biden. And some people say, well, I'm not with, either party. I'm with God. That's cool. Elijah was with God, but he was against Ahab. Elisha was with God, but he was against Jezebel. All right. You know what I'm saying? And so there are many of the prophets, Samuel, he was with God, but he was against Saul. And that's the reality. I'm against the agenda, the system that they are choosing to push, even that their predecessors have been pushing. It's not that I hate her. It's not that I hate Biden. It's not that I hate Obama. It's not that I think that Trump or anybody else is perfect. Like I told you before, it's not about personality versus personality. It's about what are you trying to push, and are you pushing this country to become more of a Sodom and Gomorrah? If you thought Biden was bad, she is much worse. And the only thing that I can think of being worse than her right now is Gavin Newsom. You know what I'm saying? And if America makes the mistake of letting this woman get in office with all the warnings that we have got, I'm letting you know that Jezebel spirit, that Antichrist spirit, we're going to see it on a level we have not seen before. Now, people like to always say these things about Marcus Rogers is this, he's a false prophet. But like I said, you got the video where I says, I wasn't wrong about Trump. You see the things that I was saying in 2016, 2017, 2018. It was the same thing. Look, God has given us a season of grace, given Christians a time to prepare and get ready. If America does not repent, they're going to get their King Saul. They're going to get their Ahab and their Jezebel. You know what I'm saying? And we did. And a lot of America woke up because they see how bad it is. But if we don't listen and we don't get it right again, guess what? It's going to get 10 times worse. It'll be one of the greatest mistakes, that America has made, just from a spiritual perspective ever. Obviously, there's some other things that America did that was awful, horrible, wicked. But I'm telling you right now, I'm going to show you some clips at the end of this video where you could just see, what you think about it, just clip after clip after clip of her just saying some strange things. But there's something off with her spirit. I see it in her eyes. Something is off. She only claims to be black when it's beneficial, when it's to manipulate. I think she's always claimed to be, Indian, then claimed the black side. And then as soon as she decides she's running, Beyonce of all people, hey, use my music, that'll tell you something. Cardi B coming out saying certain things like, what did she say? Something about why does it pretty much matter that she's married to a white man? Well, the reason it matters is because you guys keep demonizing the white man, but all these Democratic female politicians are married to white men, including, AOC, Don Lemon, all of them. So it's like, it's just a bunch of just hypocritical, double standard stuff. And like I said, at the end of the day, the main thing is the legislation, right? And we see legislation affects the believers. We see it in the Bible, right? The 3 Hebrew boys, Daniel and the lion's den, Esther, they said, hey, we're going to pass this legislation to go after God's people. So a lot of people sit there and say, hey, it doesn't matter. God is in control. I'm not picking either side. That's why we have to judge with righteous judgment. The prophets of the Bible spoke and warned Israel, hey, you're going down the wrong path. Don't be like those other nations. Don't worship the way that they do. Don't move the way that they do. So somebody has to do that in America. All these prophets just prophesying about, blessings in your future and you having a big ministry and a big car and a big this, and they're doing that to get a big offering from you. But if real prophets would stand up and really say what the Lord is saying about what's going on in America with this abortions, with this LGBTQ agenda, with the lawlessness, which the Bible warned about, that there will be lawlessness in the end times, with the people being lovers of themselves, with the rebellion that's out there, with the calling good evil, evil good, bitter sweet, sweet bitter. Hey, the Bible says, woe to them. If we were really talking about the things that God wanted us to talk about and saying the things that God wanted us to say, things would be a lot different. But the reality is America has not been listening. They haven't been repenting. And I'm going to tell you right now, I just know what I know. Pray about it. You don't have to agree. That's fine. They vote for Kamala Harris and put her in there, you might as well just say, and it's not her, the person, it's the agendas and the spirit that they're operating in, the things that they've decided to push. You might as well just say we put Jezebel in the office. I don't believe she's going to win because, Hillary Clinton didn't win. I think the only way that, they would win if all of this was planned, right? Maybe the assassination on Trump didn't work. And so now, this was the plan all along. We'll remove Biden after all the preliminary stuff so we don't have to worry about trying to vote, the female into this position because, it was supposed to be Hillary Clinton. So we'll have Biden go through this whole process, then pull him out. And then, like I said, nobody voted for her. They selected her. And that's kind of scary to me. Go to www.marcusrogersministries.org if you want to support what we're doing here in Chicago. I mean, I don't think she's going to win. I'm praying against that, But like with a lot of prophetic words, it's conditional. We see that in the Bible. So either the people are going to listen, and if they don't listen, they're going to get what they get. Just like this time, they got what they got. People see it. Exactly what we said was going to happen. It happened. It's been an awful 4 years. So get prayed up, church. Get right.